Okay, so now I hope you have a good clarity on the Terraform init and Terraform validate commands, right? So Terraform init is to initialize the Terraform, which download the particular provider's connectors, right? And then it set the environment for you, and then Terraform validate. Okay, it validates your configuration files for the syntax error and for the logical errors. Right. So the next command that we run is Terraform plan. Okay. So Terraform plan is for the planning of the changes that we are going to perform in our environment. Okay. So it is exactly like same when we do any changes in the production. Okay. So before that, we make sure that the changes that we are going to implement in the production will be good. There would not be any problems. Right. So for that, we may need to test in the pre-productions, and then overall, we can say that when we actually implement the plan in the production environment, then we make sure the change we are going to implement is perfect. There is no errors in that. That means we'll get the desired result, what we are expecting once it is implemented. Okay, so Terraform plan is exactly same. So when we run the Terraform plan command, okay, so it creates the snapshot of the changes that is going to be implemented in your environment. Okay, you can say it is a blueprint of the change that will be going to be executed in your environment so that you can plan it properly, you can review it properly. The impact of execution will be good. Okay, the result will be as expected. And once you are sure that your plan is good, then you can actually execute the implementation which will create the resources in your cloud environment. Okay, so this is the Terraform plan. Right. So command is very simple, Terraform plan. And as I said, as I explained earlier, okay, so we can run Terraform with or without plan file. Okay, so first I will show you without plan file. Okay, and then I will show you with plan file and what is the benefit of that. Okay, so simple, the purpose is to create an execution plan. Before actual implementation, it will show you the output, what exactly going to be executed in your environment once you will execute it. Okay, so it will show you what resources will be created, what changes will be made, what resources will be destroyed. So that means you may be doing multiple kind of changes in your environment. Okay, you may be creating few new resources. For that you have done the configurations. Maybe you are going to update some existing configurations, or maybe you are going to destroy some resources. So that means you may be doing multiple kind of operations with the help of Terraform, right? And for every changes you define the different configuration files. So once you execute the plan, okay, it read your configuration files and create a snapshot what actually going to be implemented in your environment once you will execute it. Okay, so the command is simple, Terraform plan. Right, so it's a sequence. Like whenever we work in the Terraform, so the sequence is first we run the Terraform init, then we create the our configuration files, then we run the Terraform validate for validation, and third step we go for the Terraform plan. Okay, so this help in reviewing change before applying them. So key point here, show changes on screen, does not save anything, temporary preview. Now this Terraform plan, we have not specified any plan file here, just Terraform plan. So it will read your configuration file and it will create a snapshot, and that snapshot will be displayed on your screen. Okay, that snapshot is not going to save anywhere. Okay, it is not going to save anywhere. So this is a temporary preview. That means when you will run the Terraform plan, it will show you on the screen, and once your screen or window is closed, okay, then the changes will be gone. Okay, that means it will be displayed on the screen. And here where the difference come when we go Terraform plan with the plan file. So when we go with the plan file, okay, then all the changes are written to a plan file, and that plan file we can review anytime whenever we want. So what does it show? What resources will be created? So if a resource does not exist, Terraform plan to create it, right? So that means the kind of a changes that you are going to perform in your environment. Okay, so this is one of the small example. So here this particular code is to create an EC2 machine or AWS EC2 virtual machine. Okay, so here we have to specify the particular AMI ID. What will be the AMI ID of our machine? What will be the instance type for our particular virtual machine? What will be the name of my virtual machine? So suppose this is the code that you have defined in your configuration files to create an EC2 virtual machine. So when you are going to run the Terraform plan, okay, it will show you the output that this particular machine will be created. So here plus means new resource will be created. So there are different symbols. If you are creating some resources, you are updating some resources, you are destroying some resources, the plan file output will be according to that particular operation that you are going to perform. Right. Now suppose that what changes will be made. So suppose that you are going to update some instance. So now you have a virtual machine with t2.micro configuration, and you are going to change that the instance type of your machine from t2.micro to t2.small. Okay, so for that you will define instance type t2.small. Okay, so now your Terraform will identify that, okay, for this machine the current instance type is t2.micro, and now you have mentioned t2.small. So that means you need a certain kind of a update. You want to update the machine configuration. So you will see something like that one. This AWS underscore instance dot web will be updated. That means now the instance will be updated with the new instance type. So here you can say this tilt function or the symbol means resource will be modified. Right. Similarly, suppose that you are going to destroy some resources in your cloud environment with the help of Terraform. Okay, then you will see the particular instance dot web will be destroyed. The instance is going to be destroyed, and the sign will be hyphen, or you can say minus. So this means the resource will be deleted. So based on the kind of operations that you are going to perform, the way you have written your code, either you are going to create a new resource, you are going to update some existing resource, you are going to destroy some resources. Okay, you will see the output in your plan. When you will run the plan, you will see the proper output in the plan. What Terraform script will going to do when you are going to execute it actually. Okay, so this is the full example of the output. Okay, so Terraform will perform the following actions. Like this, you can see here. So this is the same that we have seen so far. This is the AMI ID. This is the instance type. Okay, so plus ID known after apply. So ID of the instance will be applicable only once your instance is created, right? So when we create a virtual machine in the cloud, okay, so there is a instance ID is assigned. So that's why it is saying known after apply. So that means once the virtual machine will be created, after that ID will be known. Okay, so do not worry about this particular code. As I said, I am just explaining you about the workflow, the exact workflow and the commands. Okay, so for this particular section where we define the different configuration files to create the resources, we have a detailed session later. Okay, so here you can see that once you will run the plan, okay, you will see the output like this one: plan 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So in this particular code, what we are doing, we are just creating an EC2 machine, virtual machine. So that's why the plan will show 1 to add, and there is no change and there is no destroy, right? And as I said, if you are seeing the plus in the output, that means you are going to create the resources. For this tilt character, that means you are going to update the resources, and for hyphen, that means you are going to destroy the resources, right? So this is the without plan file. We have not specified any plan file, right? So the output will be displayed on the screen when you run the command. Now you want a more control over the planning. So for that, what we do, we run the Terraform command, Terraform plan command with the plan file. So syntax is very same: Terraform plan hyphen out and the name of your plan file. So with hyphen out and with the name of plan file, what will happen? Your plan will be executed, and then plan is going to save in a file whatever the name of the file that you are going to specify here. Okay, so that means planning is going to be saved in a particular file. So this gives a bit more control over the planning. Okay, for example, if I'm executing the plan right now, it may be possible that there's a gap of couple of hours or any day of a time when we do the planning and then we do the execution, right? So for example, if today on 2nd of March, okay, we did the planning, and we are going to actually implement this on the 3rd of March. So there would be a gap of 24 hours in between, right? So there could be a possible that within that particular duration of a time, okay, your configuration file has been changed. Maybe someone has done the changes in the configuration file, maybe intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, so if the configuration file has been changed, okay, then your planning will be destroyed, right? Because you have done some different planning, but during the execution you are going to execute something different, right? So whenever we do the Terraform planning, okay, so with the plan file, it create the actual plan in the implementation file, okay, and whenever you are going to implement it actually in your environment, okay, so you can execute or you can review your plan file again, what exactly the changes that we are going to perform. Now if I talk about the previous one where we have run the plan without any plan file, right? So the output displayed on the screen, right? So now suppose again the same case, 2nd of March, we did the planning, okay, and that we are going to create some resources in the cloud, okay, and then actually we are going to implement or execute it in the 3rd of March. Again, there is a difference of 24 hours in between. Now, if someone has modified the your configuration file, okay, because you ran the plan yesterday and you are going to implement it today, so you will, if you not run the plan, then you will not able to see what is the changes or new modification that has been done. If you execute your particular resource creation in the cloud, okay, so the plan that you have done and the actual execution may be different, because there was a gap of 24 hours in between, and maybe someone has modified the file in between, right? So with the plan file you will have a more control over that, right? Because once you create a plan file, you can review this plan file anytime. Okay, so even there is a gap of 24 hours or maybe couple of days as well between your planning and execution. So before execution, you can check your plan file. Okay, what are the changes that are going to be implemented if someone has not done any changes in your configuration file intentionally or intentionally between. Okay, so the changes will be implemented as per the planning. Doesn't matter it has the planning has been done couple of hours back, couple of days back, or a month back. Okay, it will be execution will be exactly just like the planning that you have done, right? So that means it analyze current state and configuration, determine required plan, changes, and save the plan in a plan file, right? So here your my plan is the file name. You can define any name here. You can specify the any location, like this is a file name, so you can specify a path for this plan file. Otherwise, if you specify only plan file name, it will be created inside your current directory. This is a binary format, so you will not able to read it in any notepad or on a text editor. Okay, so you have to read it with the Terraform command only. Right. So benefit, as I said, using a plan file, Terraform plan hyphen out provide better control and safety during deployment. No changes between plan and apply. Ensure same plan is applied. Right. So whatever the planning that you have done, it will ensure that only that change is only going to be implemented when you will run the apply. Okay. So as I said, if you can review this plan file anytime. So suppose you have done planning yesterday, and now again before execution you want to check the plan file what we are going to implement in the environment. So you can run the Terraform show command, and with Terraform show you can specify the name of your file. Okay, so if you want to check it in JSON format, then you can specify -JSON as well. Okay, so this is the example output that we have discussed just some time back. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are creating an EC2 instance machine. Okay, so what it does, convert binary plan file into human readable output. So exactly what will be created, what will be modified, what will be destroyed. So that means once you are going to run this show command, okay, with the plan file name, okay, so as I said, this is a binary file, you cannot read it in text editor. So once you run Terraform show command with the name of your file, so it will automatically convert this file into the human readable form, and the output will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so before I show you Terraform applied, what I will do, I will show you with the execution as well, how it works. So I will use the same code file that we have been using. Okay, so this is the main.tf file that we have created. So now what I will do, I will copy paste this particular code here only. Okay, which is to create the per instance machine, EC2 instance machine. Okay, so let me copy it here in the same file and then save. Okay, so now I have saved this file. So what I will do, I will go here and I will run Terraform plan. Okay, so because I'm inside my project folder where I have created my code file, so here I am going to run the Terraform plan. Okay, so now when I'm going to run it, okay, so I am running it without any plan file, right? I haven't specified any plan file, so there is no file is going to be created here in my folder, project folder, right? Because we do not have any plan file. So this output is going to be displayed on the screen only. Okay, so you can see here there is a file that has been created with the help of with the name of terraform.tf state. Okay, so this is the internal file that is going to maintain by your Terraform. Okay, so it will be there for a couple of seconds and then it will not be there because this plan is temporary, right? So here you can see the output is on screen, and if you see AWS instance dot web will be created. So if I show you the code file here, what we are doing, we are creating a resource AWS underscore instance. So this is a tag that we use to create the AWS instance. Okay, so this I will cover in detail when we will go for the code, how to create the code for Terraform. Okay, and this is the name of my particular instance VM machine. This is the AMI for my virtual machine, and this is the instance type t2.micro. So these are same output will be shown on the screen. AWS underscore instant dot your name, whatever the name for your machine you have given here. So this machine will be created. So this will be the AMI of your machine, and there are a lot of parameters that will be known only once your machine get created. Okay, so these parameters will be assigned, like the IP address will be assigned once the machine is created, right? Similar, the instance ID will be assigned once the machine is created. So here you will see that, and then we have specified the instance type as t2.micro, right? And here you can see the plus symbol. That means it is going to create. Here you can see plus, right? So this means this is going to create the resource, and this is what exactly we have defined here. So this display on the screen, right? So this is not saved in any file, right? Now, if I show you the next one, okay, let me show you with the plan file. So if I run the same thing by giving a plan file, okay, so let me execute this as well. So I will run this Terraform command again, and hyphen out equal to my plan. Okay, and then let me run it again. So now you will see this my plan file will be created here inside the my project folder, right? Because we have specified a plan file. And with this plan file, we can review our planning at any time. Now you can see that the my plan file has been created, right? And you can see the output here, saved the plan to my plan. To perform exactly these actions, run the following command to apply. Okay, so this is the command that we need to apply. Okay, so just like the planning, where we do the planning with or without any plan file, similarly, we can apply with or without plan file as well. Okay, that I will explain in the next session. So here this is our plan file. So this plan file containing all the changes that we are going to perform in our environment, and this plan we can review anytime. Okay. So for example, if I run it as Terraform show. So Terraform show and the name of your plan file, right? Our plan file name is my plan. So I have given Terraform show my plan. So by this command, you can see the planning anytime. You can see this is the same output which you have seen on the screen, right? This is the plus. So this is a machine that is going to be created. This will be the AMI going to be used. This is the type of your instance. Like similarly, you may be doing multiple things. So this planning you can check anytime before you're going to apply. So now that means when you updated your code and when you run the planning, as I said, there would be a difference of a couple of hours of a day of a time between your planning and actual implementation. So you can run this plan before execution, okay, to ensure that whatever the planning that we have done couple of days back or hours of back, the same changes is going to be reflected in your environment, and there should not be any unintentionally or intentionally change in the configuration files.